Hey geeks, how's it going? Welcome to the officially unofficial Geek Channel weekly comic roundup. And as always, I'm your host, Carrie Quinn, and looking a little bit different. My hair, yeah. Anyways, finally got up and did my hair. Got my hair done, did my hair, whatever you want to call it. So, we've got a lot of comics to talk about today. We've got a lot of information here to talk about, so let's go ahead and get right into it. If you've been here before, you know the drill, but if you're new here and you happen to like what you see, please comment, subscribe, like, all those things. And if you are if you're new here, you should also know that my comic roundup end of the week videos are usually very spoiler light, but there are spoilers. Sometimes it's easiest just to, talk about it, but I do try to keep large things secret, big items secret, so that there's a little bit of a thrill for you. But if you don't like spoilers at all, please hit pause on this video and go finish reading your comics. For crying out loud, it's Sunday. Oh gosh, I should talk. We had so much to read this week, which is fantastic. It's fantastic. I love all the content. I love having things to read. We had so much to read this week that I gotta be honest with you, and I had other things that were going on life-wise. I gotta be honest with you. I just finished reading probably about an hour ago. It is 9:31 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, so I should talk about this whole get your comics read, it's Sunday already thing, because I literally just finished. So, bad Carrie. Anywho, so we got a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna just jump into it because, well, time is precious, time is money, and your time is precious, and I want to do what I can to help with that. So let's jump right in. Obviously, I save my comic for the week to the end, so let's jump into this comic roundup. You will see, first off, here we have Justice League Last Ride, Chip Zdarsky. Woohoo! I am really liking this dude and his writing. I don't really have a lot of notes, so sometimes you'll see me reading. I'm reading off on my notes because we do read so many comics sometimes that I want to make sure I am giving you guys all the goods the best way possible. So let's just talk about Justice League Last Ride 2. It's issue 2. We basically kind of leave off, not necessarily right where we left off. We're not picking up right there, but it looks like it's a little bit of time later. They're actually en route to take Mr. Lobo. Mr. Lobo. They're en route to take Lobo to hide him until his trial. Okay. Right here we got this really cool variant cover. As always, I try to choose my covers based on what appeals most to me, and this is the one that appealed most to me. Either it's the one that appeals most to me or is the one that's left, because I actually did buy my comics a little bit later than usual this week. But I actually really like it. So whatever was the meaning behind me picking this one, I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm digging it. You got different Green Lanterns here, trying to subdue Lobo, and we all know how difficult that is because he's Lobo. And anywho, so Lobo is in a cell, and they are on their way to take him to Arcopolis. I never pronounced that right, so please bear with me. To hide him, basically, until his trial. And so this is what we got here. This is pretty cool, and there's some flashbacks involving Batman and Martian Manhunter that were really interesting, and I did really like it. I didn't really have very much from this week's comics that I didn't like, um, but yeah, so it was pretty great writing, and I am really enjoying all that I've been reading from Chip Zdarsky lately. God, why am I so tongue-tied today? Okay, so this really good. Gonna continue reading that one. Um, so I really anticipated a lot of comics this week. Um, Obviously, one that's always highly anticipated for me is the Joker. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I do have notes involving this one. So, um, I love this cover one. It is the general cover, cover A. Some people would consider it cover A. Um, it reminds me kind of like a Star Wars poster, a Star Wars movie poster, where you kind of have what seems to be like the most important aspect of this whole situation, and they are like the largest, most present in this artwork, and that would be obviously the Joker, right? And then you've got everyone else below, and you know what the thing is like, if you go by the wingspan alone, the owl and Lady Bang seem to be kind of up there in importance, but you have Jim, and you have Oracle, because she does show up in this one. So like, so basically what this one is, it is shit or get off the pot time for Gordon. Jimmy, yeah, Jimmy. So we all knew that 4 issues in, Jim was not going to kill the Joker. No surprise there, but here we have the Joker. When all the dust settles from the fight bound to happen from the end of the last Joker issue, with plans of his own. Okay, so he swears his innocence involving the gassing of Arkham, and his intent is to find out who did it. That's his plan. Of course, Jim does not believe him. Jim has said multiple times in the past in these issues that he believes that the Joker is responsible for the gassing of Arkham, and so but Joker swears that he's not the person that did it, and he is going to be finding out who did, and that's what he is going to do. So he has everyone tied up that came after him, and he leaves. And one of them that's tied up, obviously, is Jim. Barbara, of course, that checks in with Oracle. Barbara is on the tail of Ksenia. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's, we learned previously is in cahoots, is a part of the owls. So yeah, cahoots. Oh golly, Carrie, don't you come up with them. I'm not sure if I could say pun intended with that one, because it really just kind of came off the cuff with that one. Anywho, so she's not really getting anywhere, and it is pretty obvious to her that the reason why she's not getting anywhere trying to find out information about this person, about the blonde that hired her father, is because she's pretty certain that well, it's because it's obvious that she's certain that she knows she's being tailed, that she's being watched. So of course she is covering her tracks. So we'll see what happens next with that one. It'll be really great to continue reading. I did really enjoy it, even though it did not end up getting best comic this week, which was surprising for me because it keeps on getting best comic of the week whenever it comes out. But you know what? We have a lot to talk about. So, moving on, we're going to show off. I'm going to show off one of my favorite Pride covers. Not the favorite so far, but one of my favorite Pride covers in Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 773. Look at that. That's really pretty, isn't it? So, Wonder Woman. Okay, so let's see here. Well, Diana can definitely add labor union negotiations to her list of skills on her resume. Diana goes and listens to the complaints of the Valkyries, and just as she was starting to get it, and also remember who she was, fully friggin' Thor has to show up and cause trouble. But now, remembering who she is, Wonder Woman tells Thor basically to take a seat and clues Thor into what's really happening, and that his weapons aren't what he thinks they are, that they're actually cursed. Basically, she takes the hammer and destroys it right in front of him. She is visited by her friend Boston, who actually ends up taking care of Dr. Psycho for her. Thank you very much, Boston. Dead man. And he also alerts her to the fact that since she remembers who she is now, oh, by the way, Olympus needs you right now, Diana. So when you're done here, can you get your hiney over there? And so after she's done finishing up negotiations, and she takes part in the party and gets some with Ziegfeld, she is on her way, and we do see a little bit of a cliffhanger in regards to what she sees when she gets to Olympus. Obviously, June this month there's a few different stories, issues that have double issues this month, and Wonder Woman is one of them. We're going to see another Wonder Woman issue coming out later here in June. So this issue kind of just tied up the Asgard issue, the Asgard storyline, excuse me, and now we are transitioning Wonder Woman into this Olympus storyline. So I personally, as a reader, if I was a betting woman, we're going to find some kind of tie-in to certain things that were said and are done, and showing us in the first Wonder Girl comic in regards to Olympus. But we'll find out for sure eventually. It's going to look interesting to I think a lot of us. So moving right along, we are looking at Future State Gotham #2. Look at that, Jason. Okay, so really cool. Really liking it. I am so glad they kept with the black and white setup. I really love that whole gritty old school vibe with it. I've heard some people describe it as being kind of anime manga. Like, I don't know about that, but I will say it's very old school, gritty, and very nice. And I like, there could be tons of freaking symbolism there with this. I don't know. I'm not going to dive too deeply into that. I really just think that if there's symbolism involved in the choice of doing the black and white, we're going to have to just kind of hold off on it for now. But I will say I really love it. So I'm not sure what Jason was trying to accomplish seeking out the Bat family. I will say that. Maybe it went over my head. I'm just not sure. So if you understand anything about that, please comment below. Maybe he thought they knew something about the new Batman. I don't know. But something he said has actually the gears in Tim Drake's head turning. And that's actually interesting. He actually kind of got through to his family, but they all think he's not on their side. And here's the thing, he is. He is. So we actually here, I'm going to tell you right now, we actually find out who Jason has been talking to in the shadows. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, okay? You have to read it for yourself. I'm not going to do that to you. I want you to get that on your own. But are you really not sure who it is anyways? I mean, you know. I mean, you know. Come on, guys. You know exactly who Jason Todd has been talking to in the shadows. Um, please just trust your instincts. You probably already know who Jason Todd is talking to in the shadows. If you don't know exactly, then you probably have a top 5 list. Um, and if you don't know, you haven't been paying attention, not just to this, these last two, the first issue, but also paying attention to what happened as part of Gotham storylines in Future State. And also, honestly, anything that Jason Todd has been involved in lately, you have to know. And if not, you have a top 5 list. And that person is in the top 5, assuredly. So, really loving this art style, really loving this story, really loving where this is going. I am a Jason Todd Red Hood fan through and through, so far at least. And I'm glad I'm here for it. And I love this. I love that this is centric. This is basically a story not only centric to what's going on in Gotham in the future, possible future, but it is centric to Jason Todd, and you know, I'm here for it. I really love it. So the next issue that I'm going to talk to you guys about is Batman the Detective. This is part 3 of 6. Really enjoyed this one. Again, like I said, there's not a lot here this week that I did not enjoy. Batman has in the previous issue, he came across his frenemy and former teacher, having just been messed up by what might be Batman's version of the Great Intelligence. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you know what I'm talking about. But Batman's version, what might be Batman's version of the Great Intelligence, and is now Batman is rushing him, his frenemy and former teacher, Dakar, to the hospital to hopefully save his life, because he has been messed up good by this great intelligence type thing. Then the rest of the book is a really lovely, wonderful flashback journey of the manhunting training that Bruce Wayne got from Dakar. The issue, it's lovely. Okay, so the issue does end in the series present time with a cliffhanger, another cliffhanger. There's been a few cliffhangers here, so this one does still have me hooked. I will be continuing this one. Thank you very much. So many. So we'll be moving on now to... Let me have a drink of water here. This one. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, I really enjoyed this one. This almost got Comic of the Week. Listen to me. The next 3, we got 3 to talk about left. Okay? These next 3 were all pretty much neck and neck. One just kind of won out over the others. And right now, so the first of those 3 is Batman Detective Comics. Detective Comics number 10371037. Oh my goodness. And it has 2, count them, 2 extra stories that were also very lovely, but I'm mainly going to be talking about the main story. Like I said, the other two, especially the one with Deb, yeah, the reporter, that one was definitely, I definitely really liked that one. But yeah, okay, this is really good. Like I said, I liked everything basically. Um, so Bruce Wayne is in a bit of a pickle. Mr. Worth is a psycho. Huntress finally gets her man only to unlock a bigger mystery. And Oracle, well, she's grossed out. Okay, nothing much really needs to be said past that, really. I mean, you got some guy working for the mayor's office that is obviously, that's got some really hot stuff going on with him that, like that if Oracle had seen that, it may have pushed her over the edge to Puke Town. I mean, wowzers. Like, some very weird stuff going on. I mean, I thought it was getting weird when we saw what looked like zombie Sarah Worth, but it actually was Lady Clayface last time. But now we've got this weird parasitic eye thing going on. Okay, so and yes, Mr. Worth is a gosh darn psycho. God damn, like really, if you've read the issue, if you've read the story, if you've read this one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That was overkill. Overkill times about 100. So that's going to be interesting to see exactly what is causing this whole, especially this whole parasitic type thing going on that's obviously probably tied to the dude from the mayor's office, Mr. Vile. Great name, by the way. And what he's doing when he goes out for dinner to get something to eat. Wowzers. Okay, so that's a good one. And I am very interested in moving forward with that one. Still got me. Okay, so next to last, we have the Ultimate Batman Urban Legends #4. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you. In the past, there has been a couple stories here and there that have just kind of missed it for me. But every story this month is a don't miss, in my opinion. In particular, the Jason Todd story for the feels and the introduction of Cheer. Cheer, and obviously will be the guy that is heading up the whole Cheer Drops drug situation thing. So, in particular, the Jason Todd story for the feels, that introduction. In fact, in each story, we have a little something for everyone, I think. Jason Todd and Batman for the feels, Batwayne, Luke Fox for the understanding he gives to Killer Croc, Tim Drake for the tech skills and the drive, and Grifter Fuel. Grifter. See, I really like Grifter. The standouts here are Red Hood and Grifter stories, as always. Red Hood keeps inching closer and closer to answers and gets in trouble, and a frantic Batman can't lose him again, goes in comes for his aid. Grifter had what he thought was Batman captured, only to find out it was Superman, whom expresses his disgust with Gotham by saying, "Only when I come to Gotham," something to that effect. All this stuff just whenever I come to Gotham. We have an appearance of I do not know how to pronounce this, Zealot or Zala, whom, if you don't know the history of Grifter, is a treat. See, Jim Lee and Brandon Cho created Wildcats for Image Comics in 1992. A little history here for you guys. So they created Wildcats for Image Comics in 1992, which is where Zilot and Grifter come from. They did that in 1992 for Image because Jim Lee was one of the big people with Image at that time. And I believe in 1998, I saw that the intellectual property was sold to DC with all the Wildstorm productions created by Jim Lee. Grifter and Zealot are characters brought in from that world into the main canon of DC Comics. Rumor is that there will be more brought into this universe for long, and from what I can see from previews upcoming in the upcoming months, we are definitely going to be seeing more of Zealot, Zila, Zola, however you pronounce it. You know what I'm talking about. You know. Okay. So that's going to be really cool. I'm going to be really interested to see how that, especially from the previews that I've seen, and how it's going to be interacting with not just Gotham, but DC heroes as a whole. Which brings us to the #1 comic of the week. Now, I have been checking out the different anthologies that they've been doing. I checked out the Asian anthology. I did all that that DC did. In particular, I really did want to talk about this one because when I finished reading it today, it was, for me, it was the best stories that I've read this week. And that is the official DC Pride one. Look at that cover. Oh my god. DC Pride 1, celebrating a parade of LGBTQIA plus characters. And this is the variant cover, and I had, as soon as I knew that they were doing this, I coveted this cover. This is the one variant that came with it. Is obviously, if you know anything about DC anti-heroes, this is Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. Oh, and they're my faves. So this is an amazing anthology of stories starring the LGBTQIA plus stars of DC. Standout stories include a Midnighter story that I could actually follow, as opposed to the second tale stories attached to recent comics. The tale about the first Green Lantern and him chronicling his life in the closet to his gay son, Obsidian. Beautiful. Obviously a Harley and Ivy piece about how Harley has a hard time showing vulnerability to Ivy. And she wants to do that. She wants to work on that. A story debuting Dreamer from the Supergirl television series. I believe, I am not sure, but I believe this is the first trans superhero in DC, if not in comics as a whole. She was developed first in the Supergirl television series on the CW. And this is her first debut in the comics. A side note, that shit was good, and I want more stories of Dreamer in the comics. I would love to see Dreamer more in the comics. I imagine next week I might get a chance with the Supergirl series that is coming out and starting soon. So we'll see. We'll cross our fingers on that one. Cross fingers on that one. So the story, I really do want more stories of Dreamer. Let's see here. And it topped it all off with an absolutely, I mean, there was a number of stories in this, more than just what I'm mentioning here. There was a lovely, absolutely lovely story that finds Aqualad at his first Pride parade, where he gets into a jam with Eclipso, draining everyone's joy, and how, with the powers combined of a number of LGBTQ superheroes in the DC world, they are able to save the day and continue on with really awesome Pride celebrations. Seriously, that shit had me crying. It's the last tale in the anthology. It was just beautiful. Take time and read this book and share it with everyone, because this is more than just a fight between superheroes. It's a fight for their freedom to have pride in themselves, openly have pride in themselves. And I just want to, that was comic of the week, obviously. It was wonderful. So what I want to stress to everyone, now that actually I'm done, because I don't think I had before, to go out, and especially if someone like you is even if you're not personally affected by Pride, by being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, what have you, queer, even if you're like me and you're not personally if you're not personally invested for your own personal pride and well-being, if you're like me and you're an ally, especially if you're an ally, you should really actually be more aware of these things and speak out and support these causes, support human rights campaigns, support other other things like it. PFLAG, actually, in the back cover of the Pride issue, you do see an advertisement of such for PFLAG. So, and in all the issues this month with DC, you do see them talking about their main, like, big publications that have gay, transgender, or gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer representation. Every issue has, that I've seen so far this month, has like the same back, like 4 or 5 pages, talking about different publications, different characters, and what have you. Also has advertisements for Pride apparel based on superheroes, so that you can get a Pride Wonder Woman shirt, you can get a Pride Superman shirt, a Pride Batman shirt. So, but first and foremost, look into these organizations and look into history. Look into history, not just of your gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer superheroes, but look into the history that goes into just everyone from this group having the pride, and why they have pride, and why they celebrate pride, and how they had to fight to have pride. And I know that gets off of the whole comic book thing, but you know what, if you're reading comic books, if you're reading these comic books, if you're reading, there's characters in Marvel as well, and I believe Marvel is also going to be coming out with its Pride issue, I believe in the next, I think it's next week that they're coming out with their Pride issue. Excuse me. It's not just about that. The real superheroes involving the Pride movement are people every day, and people that came before, that fought for those rights. So, anyways, sorry to go off on a tangent about Pride this month, but it really is important, and obviously DC felt that way because it came together in a wonderful piece of art for everyone to see this. So it was really awesome, and I can also tell you that the Asian American superhero one was really awesome as well. I don't think I actually reviewed that because I was kind of a week off on that one, and I picked that up a little bit late, but I did read it, and I did really enjoy that as well. So that's the comics for this week. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop talking your ear off about all the comics, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off with you guys. This is this has been the officially unofficial geek channel doing the comic roundup for the week. And my name is Carrie Quinn. As always, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you thought of this week's comics. I love to hear from you. Please shop local. I personally get my comics from a local shop here in Rockford, Clyde's Comics. So please make sure to shop local, shop small whenever possible, and be kind to each other, and keep reading and keep geeking out whenever possible. Bye, guys. Bye.